Branding design with parts that don't work with the rest of the design are a problem. Let's talk about it. The problem with badges. The biggest issue with a badge-style logo is that the corporate name must be subordinated within a shape. In some respects, this is the same as containment. A worse issue with badges is the tendency to wrap text around the shape, which significantly decreases the ease of reading it. Through bitter experience, many companies have abandoned the badge approach in favor of a separate logo and liberated type, which also gives the option of having the text below, to the side, at different sizes to fit varying design constraints. Harley-Davidson's badge logo is an exception because its type is legible, having kept the company name text flat and big enough to read with excellent contrast. Number 1. Peace Coffee's multicolored badge had sloppier type. Its new signature is easier to read while keeping a hand-rendered look, and being bigger and not stuffed inside the badge gives much better legibility for both the signature and the logo. Highland Brewing's logo had too many elements, many of which were quite illegible. Their new one is improved a bit, but still has wraparound type, which is always harder to read. League of Legends has a separate logo now. The words League of Legends are too small for no good reason. They could at least have been as wide as the word European. Number 4. Club Atlético Paranaense got rid of its badge, but the CAP acronym is handicapped by letters with drop shadows that are too small for clarity. Number 5. Stanley Park's badge had illegible microtype. Their new identity is much easier to read, although its containing shape is rather random. Juventus have a recognizable monogram now, but insist on keeping their name much too small. They will no doubt fix that as well. Number 7. Right to Dream had very abused type. Their clean logo and type are a huge improvement. Number 8. Starbucks is one of the few companies on the planet that can forego having a signature at all. Even though their previous badge was one of the cleanest and easiest to read, they saw the benefit of converting it to a logo without wraparound type. It is much clearer. The wrong mood or feeling. Designers must cultivate the ability to see how their creations will be perceived by clients' customers. Even if the concept of the logo is appropriately corporate activity, corporate name, or even abstract, the manner in which the design is executed needs to feel harmonious with the corporate ideals. There are many subtleties that come into play in identity design. Shapes and fonts carry stylistic subliminal messages that must be appropriate for your client. In most of the samples shown here, the new revisions give a more appropriate mood for the company in question. One identity might look too casual and not formal enough, while another might look too straight-laced and corporate, and another might lack refinement. It depends on the client's needs and the desired perception on the part of the client's customers. Number 1. Infotech had a sloppy checkmark logo, a bad association for a technology company. Now they have a new company name and a new clean brand. Hilton's old logo looked like a poor 1950s design, as did its unkerned signature, inappropriate for a high-class hotel chain. The kerning issue disappeared by changing from all caps to upper and lower case. Number 3. A data technology agency, Essence, is much better served with its new wordmark than by its old one. Number 4. Frontier's old logo joined a serif italic F with a mostly sans serif wordmark, topped off with a hackneyed swoosh. The new identity is so much more unified. Number 5. Khan Academy's logo looked a little too casual and juvenile. The new one is more mature and credible. Number 6. The Philbrook Museum of Art logo was meaningless shapes in a rectangle, a poor association for an institution that tries to combat the notion that modern art is meaningless. Their new monogram is a person looking at something, exactly the experience they provide. Number 7. LendingTree's signature used a dated-looking font. They fixed it along with a stylish logo. Number 8. Pinterest switched its signature to look more businesslike. A good move. Number 9. NASA's 1958 logo had a hokey retro Star Trek feeling. In 1975, they switched to a more modern monogram, sometimes unfairly called the worm, but switched back to the retro-looking meatball in 1992. In 2020, NASA came to its senses and went back to the modern 1975 monogram. Because it conforms to the core principles, it could serve NASA indefinitely. Sotheby's sans serif signature may have looked a little too corporate, and so they switched to a serif font, one of the few companies that benefited by such a change. Number 11. Instagram shifted from a more random script to a more uniform script, making it a bit more businesslike. Number 12. Epcot changed its hodgepodge wordmark to a futuristic wordmark, in keeping with their theme. Number 13. The former Dallas Convention Visitors Bureau wordmark looked casual, and they changed it to have a more business-oriented look. Number 14. Alberta changed their 90s feeling wordmark to a more casual look. Number 15. Logitech's old logo was very casual and a bit goofy, the wrong mood for a technology company. The new wordmark with its innovative G is much more appropriate. Number 16. The Bookman font was very popular in the 60s and 70s, but now looks dated. Michael's new hand-rendered script wordmark is more contemporary and more feminine, as are the majority of their customers. Number 17. News Corporation had a weak serif for its signature, but the handwritten look of their new wordmark does not look precise or authoritative. Number 18. Boston.com's former wordmark looked too playful. The newer one looks more appropriate for business. Number 19. Destination America's hand-painted backgrounds verged on the sloppy. The new ones look cleaner without looking too corporate. Number 20. DeviantArt's logo had dated 80s looking letters. The new one is very contemporary and solid. Designing identities requires a sensitivity to all the ramifications of design. Is it appropriate? What message does each element send? How could this be misread? Those are all questions a designer needs to ask every time a new design is created. Are you trying to put a round peg in a square hole? As you have seen here, most of these samples have been improvements. Some didn't go far enough. For more information, go to logodesigntheory.com. If you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe, and share this with anyone who needs to know more about logo design.